So I was on YouTube Reels a few days ago because I love myself enough to delete Instagram, but let's be honest, I still hate myself a little bit. And I saw this video of Hudson Williams, who plays one half of the gayest hockey couple on TV right now, and it just really stuck with me. This show almost didn't even air in the US, and now it's got one of its stars jumping out of a black Cadillac Escalade, politely brushing off hordes of screaming fans while he heads in to talk to Jimmy Fallon about his success like he's promoting Marty Supreme. And it just got me thinking, like, what culturally is happening right now? I feel like if I'm gonna speak on this, I do need to be honest about my sordid history on the internet. I actually made it through my teen years without ever getting a Tumblr, mainly because I was too busy manning the light board for our spring production of Les Miserables. But I did get a lot of secondhand fan culture through Pinterest, of all places. So I wasn't like an active participant in fandom, but I very much consumed a lot of screenshotted Tumblr posts about the following. And trigger warning here for all those who served. Super Hulock, John Locke, One Direction Imagines, Destiel. I am no stranger to hordes of people online wanting boys to kiss. Like, I remember being 14 and hearing about the Larry ship and being like, that's crazy. Unless, I do just want to mention ASAP that clearly I am not the person to speak on how this show has been received by the gay community and all the discourse there. I think that there's always been a very thin line between fandom and fetishization, especially on the more fanatical side, and like, let's not be doing that, okay? Let's not be bringing our RPF to real hockey games, please. Let's not be trying to out people or bother them in their real lives. Hasn't Jensen Ackles been through enough? Because some of the actors from these ships, like, they were mobbed. Misha Collins couldn't walk into a Comic-Con for 10 years without getting attacked, and you're laughing? These people were huge in their bubble. Fanfiction, I think, has been, like, existing under the surface of mainstream culture for a really long time, both because more and more people are growing up involved in these subcultures, but also because I feel like more and more young writers are now getting their start in the AO3 and, for the more nefarious examples, Wattpad trenches. And I used to really consider it a fun party trick to spread the rumor about, like, the sordid fanfiction history of that new movie that's coming out. But this feels different. And before I go on about anything else, I really need to say on the record that this would not have happened without Jacob Tierney. I will be watching everything that man makes until, like, whichever the first one of us to die is. The source material are good books, but they are not meditations on queerness. They are not timeless love stories a la The Time Traveler's Wife or some other literary fiction that I've never read. As they say in improv class, yes, it's hockey smut, and it's also like an incredibly touching love story that takes its characters and their situation really seriously, and I think that's beautiful. But I think that anyone involved with this show could also admit that it is not just that, like, it's social too, and it's something that I am arguing that I have seen before. Not in real life, but on YouTube.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's right, Elvis Presley.
Obviously, no one is ever gonna run numbers like Elvis did, but I think that there is a similar sociological process happening here. Another containment breach, if you will, news that people are discovering about women and their sexuality. And I believe the effect was so huge back then because the news was that, like, girls got horny at all, especially back in that day. Screaming your heart out at a man was maybe something that, like, a hussy did, but not, like, a good suburban girl. I genuinely think that is why they famously refused to show his hips on TV. Not because it was as profane as people were pretending it was, but because of the way the audience reacted to it. listen, even Jimmy Fallon knows you can't just dismiss something as profanity anymore, even if like maybe 5 minutes of the show could probably have killed Ed Sullivan. But I do feel like there is something under the surface here when Stephen Colbert and Anderson Cooper talk about this on live TV, or when Conan grills his friend about it on his podcast. I do believe it is a lot of kind-hearted curiosity from some of these like media comedy moguls. Like, what is going on? And it's two-pronged, I think. It's twofold. Like, yes, it's about the show, and it's about a lot of people like encountering this type of media for the first time and realizing their Goodreads is gonna be popping off this year because they're gonna read like 60 gay hockey books before March. But I think, at least, for those of us who identify as girlies, either part or full-time, there is a bit of gender euphoria that comes with queening out about it, as it were. Two standout moments relating to this show in the last few weeks for me were, number one, I'm at a party, me and a girl I just met, like, absolutely corner a befuddled straight man and, like, describe the entire plot of the show to him while he just has to, like, politely nod. That was really fun. And secondly, being invited to girls' night, walking into that apartment, and immediately knowing what the fuck we were gonna be talking about all night. For the past few weeks, around a lot of people, just being able to mention this show, I think of it as, like, the non-sexual version of when in Avatar they like merge their braids together. There is a psychic link among Heated Rivalry appreciators that is so special and real. And I am of the opinion that girly culture and the mania that comes with it is a powerful sociological force that should be reckoned with. Because it is kind of like a meme in a way that these things become way more popular than anyone was expecting. Because first the girls at work are talking about it, people on TikTok are talking about it, and then maybe there's one of those like bullshit BuzzFeed puppy interviews, and then like SNL's doing something about it, and then it's on the real news for like normies to see. And it's not like smut is new. I know Book Talk literally changed the way Barnes & Noble organizes their merchandise, because the girlies could not get enough of they have to share one bed, enemies to lovers, fairy, romantasy, books. And listen, is this a non-stop universal force for good? Obviously not. Have there been other queer stories that were incredibly touching, but maybe this one just had more butts in it, and that's why it went viral on Twitter? It's the same as it ever was. Did Elvis cover a lot of songs originally written by black artists, but he made them more famous than they ever would have been otherwise because he was a quirked up white boy? I think we know the answer to both of those questions. But on the flip side, I think that girly culture en masse brings a lot of art into the mainstream, and that is not to be taken lightly. I think the euphoria of fangirling is a lost art among some of us millennial / older Gen Zs, mainly because, like, we don't have time to write YN Dean Winchester fanfiction because we got work tomorrow. But I believe that we should still honor that impulse, because I think that as a whole, when the girlies get their teeth in something, it changes culture. And that means we get to watch new stories, and that networks believe in new stories that aren't just another Glenn Powell movie or Sydney Sweeney movie or Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney movie. Which means I believe, and here's my thesis, that girly culture is a progressive cultural force that brings new butts into the light of day. And in a world of god-awful reboots and terrible Netflix shows that are designed for you to watch while you scroll on your stupid phone, isn't that genuinely a breath of fresh air? So breathe in, bitches, because the Omegaverse is next! Okay, genuinely, thank you if you have made it this far. I know this video is a little less formal than the kind of stuff I normally do, but one of my New Year's resolutions is to be more delusional about my creative work and my goals. And one of those delusions is, why not post what I ruminate about when I brush my teeth? If you liked it, thank you, and if you didn't like it, fair enough. Okay, thanks, bye!